Hi guys. So most people think that the most dangerous business partner is a dishonest business partner, and I disagree. The most dangerous business partner is often the person that you trust completely. Remember, as a business founders, entrepreneurs, business owners are primarily have two biggest concerns, right? Trust and loyalty and competence. So in my experience, most partnerships don't fail because of like a big betrayal. They fail because incentives change slowly, and by the time that the co-founders realize what's happening, lawyers are often already involved at that stage. So let me explain. Okay, so first, why do partnerships work, right? Most partnerships start something like this, right? Two co-founders, they're excited, they come up with an idea, they brainstorm ideas, super ambitious people, right? They trust each other, and they sort of come to an agreement where their skills and expertise, they complement each other, and so they trust each other to handle certain areas of the business, right? You might have one person doing operations and the other person handling sales, right? Typically. So they come together, they have a goal to make a lot of money, to grow the company, and the list goes on, right? But here's the thing. So sometimes, because they're just starting out and it's sort of informal, and so they skip some difficult conversations, which may later cause slightly bigger problems. So the actual real danger is not pure dishonesty. The real danger is the changing of incentives. So where the co-founders' interest starts changing. So let me explain. So imagine two founders, right? Co-founders, they start a company. In the first year, they both want to grow the company, right? They both work long hours. They're frequently talking, planning, etc., etc. But then, things happen, right? Life happens, and all of a sudden, one founder gets married, right? One founder gets married, and then, there's a baby on the way. And so now he has children, right? Now the he or she has, children now. So now all of a sudden, founder with the children, say John wants stability, right? He's a married man, right? So he wants a little bit more stability, right? But founder, let's say the other founder, Michael's, he's not married yet. He's, living the life, and he wants a little bit more, he's still after the aggressive growth for the company, right? He still wants to scale up, 1 million, 2 million next year, a little increase on the sales, right? Revenue and stuff like that. So Michael wants to keep growing the business fast, but now, John doesn't want to take that crazy risk anymore. He's okay with, stability, keep talking to the same suppliers, same model of business, as long as good revenues coming in, good profits coming in, doesn't want to go crazy. So the key point is that people don't always change, but their incentives sometimes do. And when the incentives change, that's when the alignment starts to, misalign, disappear. So so the next stage is what I call the silent stage. So the problem doesn't just happen overnight, yeah? So most partnerships don't just explode out of thin air, right? They erode. So it starts sort of slowly and quietly. So now one founder feels like they're doing more work, right? You got John, he's married, he wants to go home every day, 6 o'clock, be with his family. But the others, Michael's still working long hours, yeah? So here, there's some sort of resentment, underappreciated feelings happening, and then sometimes communications start lessen. There's less communication, and then Michael might say, well, why am I working like significantly more hours than you, right? I'm growing the business, I'm staying longer at the office, etc. So here, at this point, there's no like actual lawsuit coming in most of the time, but it's a distance where the co-founders are the distance is growing between the co-founders. And then I think here, after this, there's like resentment, communication breakdown. There's sort of a power struggle here. At this point, they want to go different ways, right? So now, you got founder A. He may want to, year 4, year 5, he may want to exit, right? Maybe there's an offer to buy the company. Maybe some investors want to buy out the company, and they make an offer, and now this founder here, he really wants to just sell the business. But the founder here, he still wants to keep the business and grow, and that's where sort of the conflict really happens, where co-founders are not on the same trajectory, the same path anymore. So, so my advice to you is, if I was starting a company today, I would spend I would spend time talking about, like the nitty gritty stuff, the ownership, equity percentages, but talking more about expectations, setting expectations from the start, right? How much time is each co-founder supposed to spend, on the business, what their roles and expectations are if unexpected events happen, what sort of procedures are they going to follow? Maybe put in there or talk about when you want to sell the business, when you want to exit, what time frame, what revenue goals are you going to hit before you start, thinking about selling. One founder might want to sell when the company is worth 5 million. Other founder wants to keep going forever, 10 million, 20, maybe doesn't want to sell, he just wants to continue growing the business. So obviously you're going to have some slight a conflict there, and that's usually when litigation happens. So it's important to get these uncomfortable situations, these conversations happening, before, at the very early stages of company formation. So in conclusion here, so a dangerous business partner is not necessarily a dishonest one. It's the one where the incentives change over time, right? And sometimes these relationships, they sort of they don't collapse overnight, but over a couple of years, the relationship may get strained. And that's why the best partnerships are not built on trust alone. So what founders really need to focus on alignment, their incentives, and then communicating with each others about those expectations and alignments, and having those difficult conversations early. So thank you guys for watching another episode. You can click and find in the link below. I have a founder starter pack available. It's in PDF form. And follow me for more tips on founder disputes, business, entrepreneurship, legal, law-related videos. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video.